Call me now for a 5-minute Ray review. 5 minutes is all it takes to join the Ray Hampson revolution and start reducing years off your mortgage. Being debt-free, it's not just a dream. Call me anytime on 82345 088. That's 82345 088. Ray Hampson Finance.
One Solution is what you need to sort out all the communication technologies for your business. One Solution for mobiles, phone systems, tracking devices, IT support, backup data, and the cloud. One Solution, a simple answer, a strategy to handle all your business technologies so they're up to date and running smoothly. One Solution, mobile and data. Your local Telstra enterprise partner. Call them to discuss your business needs on 1800 One Solution. Visit onesolution.net.au.
The 5AA Breakfast Show.
Why is our power so expensive and what could we do about it? Roman Domansky is the Executive Director of the Energy Users Association here in Australia.
Why is it so expensive in South Australia?
A good reason why it's so expensive is actually quite unnecessary. Basically, they're monopolies, so they're regulated, but the way they're regulated is quite weak at the moment.
Keith Conlon and John Keneally with Jane Doyle and Chris McDermott. Weekday mornings from 6 on 1395. Adelaide's 5AA. Interactive radio. Email on air at 5AA.com.au. Peter Godfrey.
Good morning, 17 past 5. Quick text here just on Harry Chapin. He also had a hit with Taxi. Yes, thank you for that. Let's head across the ditch. Selwyn Manning from livenews.co.nz. How are you, Selwyn?
Yeah, good morning, Peter.
Spreading the Vegemite or the Marmite on your toast this morning?
Oh, it might have to be the Vegemite, Peter, I think. You know, haven't quite got there yet, but I'll have to scratch around for it.
It's becoming a serious shortage there of the Marmite in New Zealand.
Apparently so, and it's been elevated to discussion at Prime Minister level, so that shows you how serious it is when Marmite starts getting low in New Zealand. It's almost like, I think I put in an email to you, it's kind of like New Zealand without Marmite's like Fort Knox without gold. You know, it's a serious situation, and the Prime Minister was not going to let that one get away without him having a comment on it, Peter.
No, although I did note that he said that he can switch to Vegemite. He doesn't mind Vegemite while there's the shortage, but... yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Or maybe there's something in it for the opposition saying he's not a true Kiwi if he doesn't actually stick to his Marmite.
He's opening himself up for all sorts of criticism there, isn't he? Clearly.
You can see the strategist kind of working through that one and thinking, okay, we need closer relationships with the Australian economy, but this Prime Minister is taking it too far.
Yeah.
Tampering with the Marmite stocks, perhaps.
That's right. Well, is Marmageddon, as it was dubbed, enough to take attention away from the whole situation around Nick Smith, who's resigned from his position?
Yeah, I think that's what the Prime Minister's want earlier in the week would have been, but it certainly didn't come to pass. I mean, what happened here is a huge build-up of attention on Nick Smith. He's the former Minister of ACC, which is the Accident Compensation Commission here in New Zealand, and it's a government body that if someone has an accident in the workplace, New Zealand years ago forfeited the right to sue the person or entity that was responsible for that accident. In lieu of that, they get accident compensation. And that portfolio was what Nick Smith was in charge of up until the last election, Peter. And he's seen as a very competent person. Now, what this all boils down to is Nick Smith, it was found earlier this week, had written a letter under ministerial letterhead, which is a significant point here, to Accident Compensation, the ACC, supporting a claim by one of his woman friends. Her accident compensation claim had been going on for some time, and he had written with respect to that. He came under scrutiny from the opposition members, particularly New Zealand First's Winston Peters and the Labour Party bloc, working very strongly to kind of peel away what exactly really went on this issue. Now, Nick Smith, he got away with it to a degree on the Tuesday. By Wednesday, by yesterday, it came to pass that there was another incident of a similar nature on ministerial letterhead, and also revelations of many, many letters that had been exchanged over the course of when he was ACC minister. It all came down to an appearance, Peter, of corruption or cronyism, and people really trying to decide between which of those. Now, in his mitigating factors that he put to the House in a personal statement yesterday, Nick Smith was saying that he had always, on his correspondence, put that he was not trying to influence, words to the effect that he was not trying to influence an outcome, but really at the end of the day, the mud was sticking, and he accepted that himself. He actually said in his own words that he had done bad. And that was a revelation of a quivering voice. He was very, very personally upset when he was facing this in the House yesterday. And that's the end of Nick Smith's ministerial career for now.
So prior to this, what was he like as a minister? Have there been other concerns with him, or has he been a good performing minister?
A little bit of both. I mean, he's certainly the national-led government's intellectual powerhouse. That's how I'd frame him. Okay. He's also the ideological reformer, and his skills were he could take, this more right-leaning National Party, more right-wing economically National Party, take that ideology and reform it into law and regulation. He was a clear thinker. He knew the cabinet process like the back of his hand. In the House and during question time in the House, he is really, I think, one of their star performers. He's got a sense of theatre, and he can deliver his oratory skills without hesitation. He's been in Parliament since his mid-20s. He's in his mid to late 40s now. He certainly is a big loss to the national-led cabinet in its second term here. It really needs people like Nick Smith close in to keep things going. Now, he has resigned from cabinet. All his current portfolios, which was Minister of Local Government and Minister for the Environment, he's resigned from those. He's still an MP. MP for Nelson, just at the top of the South Island. Now, what that means is all of those skills that he has, like in the political arena, in that debating chamber, they're really lost to a degree to the National Party during question time, and that's where all the emphasis is on politics. When they're fronting up to questions from the opposition bloc and how they're performing and how they're getting through that. So losing Nick Smith in that area where he cannot contribute to the debate in that area, he can only contribute to the general debate, which is pretty lacklustre, to say the least, later on in the evenings during sitting days.
How did this all come to light? His use of those ministerial letterheads. Is there anything in that? Was it anything behind them coming out? Were they leaked, or what happened?
Yes, they were leaked. In the first wave of this, was several weeks ago. It came to light that a National Party insider, the woman we're talking about, the friend of Nick Smith, had been embroiled in a grievance with ACC, that she had claimed she was not getting her compensation as she ought to be, and that she'd been kind of trying to actually get that for quite some time. And it came to pass that we learnt that a former National Party president had sat in on these meetings. There was a suggestion too that the woman claimant, that she had received incorrectly thousands of files of other claimants. And so there was a breach of the Privacy Act, and their issues of privacy were breached in this. And that allegedly, ACC alleged that the claimant, the woman, a friend of Nick Smith, had threatened that if she didn't get compensation assured for her for 2 years, that she would leak all of this private stuff and the breach to the media. Now, that is not clear as to whether or not that did come from the claimant, or whether or not it was a suggestion from one of those senior in ACC that if she dropped it, then she would get compensation too. There's an inquiry into that, and I understand that the police are looking into that as well. So that was the backdrop to it, and from that there were leaks that came through that showed this interaction and suggested there was an interaction from the then Minister of ACC, which was Nick Smith, coming in support of the woman. Now we know this week that there are assertions around Parliament that Nick Smith was in a closer relationship with the woman up until before he got married a couple of years ago. And so that puts another thing on it. And Nick Smith, after he resigned yesterday, would not be drawn on that relationship fact. So it just still leaves an air around the National Party of, is this cronyism or was this corruption? Trying to involve oneself in the outcome of a ministry or an organisation that he's responsible for as a minister.
Okay, interesting. Now, last week you spoke about the trial of the Urewera 4.
Yes,
there is
that's right.
an outcome of sorts with that?
An outcome of sorts, Peter, exactly. Now, remember, just to refresh the listeners' memory to this, the Urewera 4, they were originally charged on New Zealand's anti-terrorism laws. Those were dropped and it was reduced down to they were charged with forming a criminal organisation that basically had the intent to cause mayhem, and even in the extreme kind of argument sparking pockets of civil war. You know, it was that type of charge around it. Now, and there were firearms charges underneath those. Now, the jury was not able to reach a verdict, a majority verdict, which in New Zealand is 10 out of the 12 kind of thing. The jury came back for the first time and said, we cannot reach a verdict in this. These are the reasons why. They were ordered back by the judge to go and have another talk and another think about these points. They came back again and says, no, the jury is divided on this. We cannot get an outcome on the criminal association charges. So that's how it is. They came through with a decision on the firearms charges, and the Crown case on those was supported in some cases. Now, with the situation now, the accused are set free on bail, waiting, the formalities of the sentencing to conclude, which is expected not to be very severe at all.
So it's
certainly
on the firearms charges, the sentencing?
Yeah, on the firearms charges, certainly not a custodial sentence. And the police are in discussions with Crown Law at the moment here in New Zealand to see whether or not they should take a retrial. There's already a lot of pressure on the government, Crown Law, the police in particular, that the costs of this trial are now spiralling up over around $4 million. That's the trial itself, and that further costs on top of this with another trial is starting in many courts to cause concern. And so it'll be interesting to see whether or not the police... At the moment, it appears that the police are probably in a situation where they would not bring a retrial to the High Court.
All right. Selwyn, many thanks for that. We'll let you get back to your Vegemite this morning, and we'll talk to you again next week.
I might be hooked, Peter. I might be hooked. Okay.
Good on you, Selwyn. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Selwyn Manning from livenews.co.nz. It's 5:28.
Linda forklifts have been evolving for over 50 years. Designed for efficiency and engineered to perform like no other, Linda forklifts deliver performance, durability and total cost of ownership economy. Take a close look at the complete range of Linda material handling equipment and discover how Linda's hydrostatic drive forklifts can take your operation to a new level of efficiency. Evolve your business. Talk to Linda today. They'll give you the facts. Call 1300 135 463 or visit landemh.com.au.
Hey, Tomo.
G'day, Warren.
Hey, I did know you were putting up a pool fence.
Yeah, it's just a temporary one from Ready Fence Adelaide. We're getting rid of the pool.
What do you do with the space?
I'm building an underground beer pit.
Oh, sweet. How'd that go down with the missus?
Yeah, she doesn't know yet, so probably going to need that fence again.
Yeah, and maybe a helmet too.
For the right fence for one day and no fence for the next. Call Ready Fence Adelaide, 82 44 66 88. Big range, little prices and same-day delivery. readyfenceadelaide.com.au.
My friends at EnviroTemp have this great challenge. They will prove to you to make your reverse cycle air conditioning more efficient on the spot, regardless of the age, or it's free. Let me tell you, it works. I've had EnviroTemp installed a few years ago. Since then, I'm using less energy, I'm more comfortable, and the power bill is $100 per quarter less. EnviroTemp costs from as little as $319 on a split system and from $549 on a fully ducted one. Call now, 131 240. 131 240.
G'day, Chris McDermott here. Now this Saturday we'll be broadcasting live from the Drummond Golf Driving Range's first birthday, and to celebrate they're having the Drummond Golf 25k hole-in-one hit-out, so be one of the first 300 to have a crack and win 25,000 big ones. The boys will be on the couch talking all things sport and also sneaking in the odd drive or two. It's the Saturday Sports Show live from 9 a.m. at the Drummond Golf Driving Range, Tapleys Hill Road, West Beach. It's right opposite Harbour Town on 1395 Adelaide.